Hello everyone, I trust that everybody is doing okay. Today I'm going to talk about shelving inventions. Shelving inventions. And I'm going to peg this particular topic on a brief story. Growing up, going to a day school, I used to walk daily to school and back. And I had an eye for automotives from very early on. So this day, walking past the river where we used to have a car wash, still does, I see a Peugeot 504 trying to turn from a highway off of Kissimiguri Road back to heading to Kissi Town after the wash. And for those who've done driving, there's something called a three-point turn. And back then, these vehicles didn't have hydraulic steering wheels or electric power steering wheels, so it was purely mechanical, manual, and it was very, very hard to do a three-point turn. So this guy was trying to turn and made more like a 6 or 7-point turn to face the other way. And in my head I was thinking, what if the rear wheels can also turn, so that as the front wheels are articulating, the rear wheels can also articulate that way, making the turning process much easier, especially for those vehicles that were struggling back then with manual steering wheels. And in my head it was just a dream, just a foggy thought in the air. What do I know? I'm a village boy going to school, walking to school, so this idea is just practical. Long story short, flash forward, we're now here in 2025, and from the early 2020s, there was invention of this particular technology. They call it a crab crawl. Crab is a sea organism that's able to walk whichever direction they want to. It can walk diagonally, it can walk straight forward, it can walk backward, it can walk diagonally backward. So all sorts of forms. So they used that concept to develop vehicles that are able to articulate both their rear wheels and front wheels. And this technology has been applied in the Hummer EV or Hummer electric vehicle, and it's also in vehicles such as the Mercedes Benz S-Class Maybach. So back then it was just a thought, which seemed very impractical, but if you're thinking about it, the universe is conspiring about it, and somebody's going to be able to go ahead with that invention and bring it to life. So today, this thing which was a fog in the mind is now an invention that's practically here, available, and being used. That said, there are other things that have happened before that seem like they're impractical, and these things were just thoughts. Today they're here. This makes me remember of a point when I thought, what if water can actually run an engine? And this thought came to my mind when I was informed to learning about chemistry electrolysis of water. You're able to form hydrogen on the cathode side of the electrolysis process and form oxygen on the other side of the anode, which is the positive side of the electrolysis process. So if you put water through electrolysis, you break it down into its simple elements. So the compound water, H2O, breaks down to hydrogen on one side, that is on the cathode side or negative side, and oxygen on the positive side or the anode side. And somebody had done this before, and that's a guy called Stan Myers. If you go to Google, they say it's a debunked theory, but this was something that happened. A guy called Stan Myers, if you can Google him out, did make a water buggy that was able to run on water, meaning he had hydrogen on demand through electrolysis. And from his claim, he ran this water buggy from Los Angeles, California to New York using only 22 gallons of water. So essentially, you are able to have free energy, free fuel. It's called a water cell fuel, which is able to give you hydrogen that can power an engine. This guy, for obvious reasons, was unalived. when he was trying to have a meeting with investors from Europe about his technology. And we can point to many other individuals who disappeared because of their inventions. Having said that, there's a law called the Secrecy Act of 1951, which is a US federal law that is able to stop a technology, an invention, or anything that they claim is detrimental to the national security or to the economic stability of the nation. And this is the reason that has been used to shut down technologies that they feel are going to affect the economy or national security. The water bag, for instance, if it was rolled out, it will have affected the oil industry, which is running many economies. Most economic giants in the world, Middle East, US, and name them, they are sustained by oil economy. You kill that, for sure you're going to create a turmoil economically. So this particular federal law is used to prevent disclosure, distribution, development of any technologies or inventions, and they do this by denying you a patent to develop the technology if it's going to affect what they claim to be the national security or economic stability of the nation. So many things have come. Probably you never heard about them, but they've been shut down because of those reasons. There's a guy in Botswana who's able to harness radio energy, Zimbabwe, I believe, from Zimbabwe, and power TVs, vehicles, and whatnot. I don't know how true that is. I think at some point he was poisoned for the same reasons, for his technology, but he survived. I think he's pushing it. I don't know how far he's going to take it. And some of these inventions are not exactly new. They have been existing, but they are rolled out when they're able to benefit the powers that be. For example, the same technology of electrolysis is used to power cars, and now it's okay to sell them. And that is the direction Toyota company has taken. That is the direction Toyota took, unlike the popular EV, electric vehicles that has been rolled out by Tesla, General Motors, and many other companies. Toyota preferred an hydrogen-powered car. But instead of giving you the older technology, which was supposed to be you loading up your car with some water, a few gallons here and there, and drive away, because electrolysis on demand is going to give you hydrogen, it's not going to benefit companies or powers that be. They are going to manufacture hydrogen, find ways of, packing this up in fuel stations, then sell it to you for you to run your car. That way is able to benefit the economic ecosystem of the haves, essentially. So let me cut my story short and say this: if you have a thought that you think is very crazy, push on with it. Maybe it's not very crazy. Someday it could be an invention that is life-changing for you and for the community in general. Thank you and have a good day.